Morning. Right now I'm walking down to our well, and I'm walking because we've got several feet of snow. Well, I would have preferred to take the snowmobile, and I tried that. This is the result. There's the snowmobile. There's a few feet of snow, pretty powdery, and it just buried in there. So I'm walking down to the well. We installed the well pump and everything about 1.5 years ago, and it's been working pretty flawlessly. I'll do a whole video on how we chose what we chose and everything, but essentially up here in the barn we have a 2,500 gallon tank with a float switch, and it's connected to solar panels with no batteries. So the solar panels go through a little control operating box there, and it optimizes the voltage and sends it down to the pump when the sun hits the panels, and the float switch is calling for water. Once it's full, if that takes a day or 2 days, and it'll shut off. 2 weeks ago we'd gotten quite a bit of snow, so I knew I needed to go check the panels at the pump and see if they need to be shoveled off or how much water we had. So I checked our water and we were down to probably a few hundred gallons. And usually the float switch won't let it get below like 2,000 gallons. So I knew there was some problem, or at least I thought originally that the panels had just been covered with snow. But I went down there to check on it and uncleared the panels, and the control box wasn't working. It was actually not sending power down to the pump. So it's under warranty. I should be able to get another one. But we still needed water. Our pump will run off of DC or AC, so I hooked a generator directly to the pump and pumped water until it got full. And that was great. And we had another storm, and it's about time we needed water again. So I hiked down here yesterday and turned the generator on. There's not really an easy way to see if it's pumping water because the outlet is in the barn, and I just assumed it was working. Generator ran for a few hours, went and checked the water level, and it had not been pumping. So now I'm heading down here to figure it out. And now we've got to go this way, getting the unbroken trail, and it's not going to be any fun. I tried sledding down our hill yesterday, but the snow was so deep I couldn't sled, I couldn't snowmobile, no fun. Just work. Come on, dipsticks. Where's the other ones? Thought the dogs should come with me. I thought maybe they'd help me blanket the trail, but I don't think they're going to. They always walk behind me. Hey, puppy. What's the problem? Hey! Seneca loves the snow. Hey! Seneca, what are you doing? Where are we going to go? Where'd you go? Hey, where are we going to go? Hey, Patchy! There's a few more up there, but we'll start with these ones. I'm sure they'll show up. Oh, hush! Okay, the other one showed up. Come here, Patchy. Come on. Hey, come here. Come here. You guys should be making me a nice trail. How come you're not making me a nice trail? Get on down there. Hey. You cold? Oh boy. They all like to bite the little one, but she's really the alpha. So she only puts up with her nonsense for so long. Then she lets him have it. Okay, hey, listen. Let's just go down there and not fight. This little puppy is annoying. Hey, leave her alone. She's gonna bite you. Is it deep snow? Huh? Come on, Honeyway. You can come. Come on, Honeyway. Okay, they're just playing. They don't even care about the water. Okay, we made it down here. Here's the well casing. Put this frost-free hydrant here. That's gravity fed by our tank at the house, the barn. So if I turn that on, there'll be water because it'll be coming right out of the line and the tank up above. But right now the well pump is not running. So the well pump is 300 feet down that casing, and it's connected from there to this little control panel. This is a Grundfos CU200 for an SQ Flex system. And I've it mounted to 4 310 watt panels, which are currently covered with snow. So like I said before, this takes the power from the panels and optimizes it, sends it down to the pump. And also the float switch connects to this. And this is what is currently not working. Well, nothing's working right now, but we're going to figure it out. So I have inside this box connected the wires that go from the pump, that come through here, to the generator directly, not into this at all. And like I said, the pump can run on AC or DC, so that should be just fine. And it worked for several hours the other day. So here's the generator. I think it's like a 2,000 or 3,000 watt generator. Runs pretty good. It's pretty efficient on fuel. All the power we need for this job. And this is just a kind of a backup system. Normally, it's the first time I've had to use it. Okay, I've got fuel in here. Let's get it started. The first thing I'm going to check is if it's producing power. Hopefully, it's not producing power. The generator is producing power. I don't know if you can see on the thing, but it's producing 120. That's good. Well, that's good and bad. I'd rather the generator be bad than my well pump be bad. It's a lot easier to throw another generator over here in the ground than to pull a well pump. So that eliminates the problem with a fuse. It's definitely not a fuse. It definitely does not need to be magnetized. So now we have two possible problems, or it could either be just the pump's bad, or it could be that we didn't have a good connection where I was plugging this in. So I don't have a plug on these wires. I was just putting the wires in the receptacle. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back in, start the generator, and then I'll put the amp clamp on the wires and see if it's drawing any power. If that doesn't work, we'll check for continuity between the two wires going down to the well pump. And if the motor at the bottom of the pump had gone bad, then there would be continuity between the two sides of the windings, and that would tell me that there's a problem down there. So first we'll see if I can get these in there and connected good, and then test the amperage on the lines. This is inside the control panel, and these are the wires that go down to the generator right here. And I've tried to ensure that there's a good connection in the generator plug. If this works, I'll add an actual plug-in extension cord and wire it in here. This normally would plug in here, and then this control panel would run everything, but I have it disconnected from there, and I've connected it to those wires that run all the way down to the pump. So it comes directly to the pump from these wires to the generator. So I'm going to start the generator and check and see if we have power here. If we have power here, then we'll know power is going down to the pump, and it'll either be pumping, which I can check with an amp clamp along one of these wires, or not. Just explaining this now before I start the generator, so that you can hear me. I have the test leads connected there, and we're getting 120 to the pump. So we know there's power going to the pump. So the only way to check now to see if it's actually pumping is to check with the amp clamp if we're drawing amperage on those green wires. So I'm going to disconnect these and we'll check for amperage on the green wires. I've got the meter set to amps, and when you check this, if you were to check it around 2 wires like this, it wouldn't work. So it doesn't work with like an extension cord, but if you clamp it around 1 wire, it can tell how much amperage is going through there. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's drawing 7.4 amps. This should be the same. 7.4. So that means that the pump is drawing amperage, which means it should be working. I did a test for continuity between the wires. If there was continuity, it would have blown a fuse in this generator and it wouldn't pump. But so since both lines are drawing amperage, I think that means it's going to be pumping. We'll go back up to the barn and check it out, and hopefully we got some water going. But I can take a long shower. Last night I had to take a wimpy shower because I was afraid there wasn't any water. So hopefully this was just a matter of a bad connection in the to the generator when I hooked it up yesterday, and we don't have a major problem. I'm going to walk back to the barn and we'll show the tank and how much water we got. Hopefully we'll be able to see some evidence of it pumping. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but right up there is the barn. So when we read the water line down here, it was 1,000 feet, just over 1,000 feet of line between here and there, and we're about 250, 260 feet lower than the barn. The pump down here will do almost 800 feet of head if necessary. And right now to our barn, it's about, from the pump location, it's well under that. It's like 600 feet. So call the dogs and let's see if we can hike back up there. It won't be as hard as it was yesterday. Seneca she has a problem. She loves rocks. She's found this rock and she's been licking it. And she won't chase sticks or balls, but she loves rocks. So I'm gonna take this rock. You can take any rock and throw it far into the woods as you want, and she'll go find it. So let's take this way. Oh, she doesn't like winter because the rocks are all frozen. Which way is it gonna go? Where's the rock? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You ready? Go get it. She got lucky. It landed in the path. Come on! Where is it? It's a pretty big rock. Oh, there she goes. She's crazy. As I'm hiking up the hill here, thinking, I'm just pretending I needed to say something so I could take a break. But as I was walking up here thinking that we might have it fixed, there's one other possible problem. Is that there could be a frozen spot in the water line. I don't think that's that likely. With this much snow, it insulates the ground. But it's possible. It hasn't ever happened before, but that is another possibility, that the generator's working, the pump is pumping, and it's just not able to get the water to the tank in the barn. So if in about 3 hours when I can check the tank and it's getting filled up, I'll be a little relieved. Right now, I'm hoping. And I'll probably think of something else profound to say in about 100 yards so I can take another break.
So here's the current situation. Zach is somewhere hiking down the hill right now, trying to make it to the well so that he can troubleshoot the pump and the generator to see which one of those might be the potential problem. So he checked it the other day when he got home after our big storm, and the pump had not been refilling. It would be such a pain in the neck to try to pull the pump up to troubleshoot the pump. So I'm hoping that if there is a problem, the problem is with the generator. What does this mean for me? Well, it means we put a halt on doing all laundry, that this morning I took a less than 2-minute shower, and we don't run our dishwasher. we've kind of hit quite a few bumps in the road this last few weeks. And so I feel like we're just kind of getting hammered with all these problems, and I would like one of them to be a simple solution. So if it's the generator, great, we can haul a different generator down there. I'm praying it's not the pump, and I'm praying that we can do dishes and do laundry and take longer showers today, but that might not be an option.
It's a little hard to see what's going on here, but this is our water tank in the barn. It's 8 foot in diameter, about 8 feet tall, 2,500 gallon capacity, and keeps this room, which has the batteries and everything in, pretty temperate. We never have to heat it because it's so much thermal mass. We got the, we'll go up here to this ladder and check down in there. We'll check the water level and see what it looks like. You can hear it sounds empty. That's because it's low. Get the flashlight. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can see anything, but the water level is, it's probably a quarter left. So we'll come check it in a few hours, and hopefully we've got a big improvement. It's really hard to tell if it's pumping. I didn't put anything in the system to allow me to check it up here. I think in the summertime I'll probably put a valve. I'd have to put 2 valves on here so I could shut off the water coming out of the tank and just isolate the water coming up the hill. Then I could verify it was pumping. But I do have a valve, 1 valve in line. So if I twist it, I think I can just hear. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but you can hear the water going through that valve. As I turn that. We're just closing that gateway a little bit so it makes a little noise. Otherwise, there's no, obviously, air bubbles or anything coming into the tank. But that means that the water's pumping, that our well's working. We should be able to come back in a couple hours. Or obviously, the well doesn't have to do anything. The well pump is working. We should be able to come back here in a couple hours and have this tank several feet higher. Now, with the generator hooked up, that's me. With the generator hooked up, the float switch doesn't work. So I plumbed in an overflow into the top of the tank. We use it as an overflow, but also as a way to fill the tank from the outside of the barn through a pump if we had to. So we can hook a pump to the overflow and pump into this tank, which we had to do that before we got a well. We would haul water up here in the Army truck and pump it into this tank. So since I had the generator running, I've uncapped that line so that if this got full, it would just overflow outside and we wouldn't have a flood in here. So just something I have to think about because the float switch won't turn off the generator. It's been about 3 hours. Oh, I hurt my knee. It's been about 3 hours. So let's see if we have any progress on the water. This will tell us if we're gonna have problems or not. Sounds less hollow. I think we're gonna be good. Oh, look at that. The water level's all the way up here. So it's probably raised 4 feet. So that's about 1,250 gallons that's pumped today. So I'll leave it for another hour and shut it off. Luckily that turned out to not be a major problem, other than my controller still doesn't work down there, which is under warranty, so I have to get another one coming. I just haven't had any time recently to worry about that. And it's really not that big of an inconvenience to run the generator for 1 day every 2 weeks. But I'm really relieved to have water when it starts going down, and I'm not sure what the problem is. It's nerve-wracking to, you know, to think of what could be the problems, because any of the problems take time to fix. If the pump had been bad, we could have ordered one. It would have taken a week to get here. I would have had to use the Army truck and haul water up here 1,500 gallons at a time, and the road's bad, and this is a lot easier if it just pumps up here. So really relieved, and I think we got this one fixed.